Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper One. Some of you are going to say, Dave, you've lost it, you've gone too far, you need professional counseling. I don't think I do. But what is this spot carved out of my dad's property? This is going to be a family cemetery. Now, it has really not directly related to SHTF, the collapse. It is we've decided that we would like a family cemetery, and where we live it's legal to do it. In your area might not be, but in my area totally legal, very easy to do. A couple little pieces of paper you got to file, instantaneous, you can bury people in the ground, and that's what it's about. Where you bury your loved ones, I think is personal. You can bury them in a big cemetery. In the old days, families were closer, families cared about each other more, families lived in the same area. It was all about family. Now people are spread all out, and even family members don't get along with family members. That's widespread. That's because I talked to a lot of you guys and gals, and you know, oh no, I have two brothers and sisters, I haven't talked to them in 10 years. I hear it from you guys. So this is what we're going to do. Hopefully we'll get a mini excavator up here for other reasons, and that's not for this. And when we do, we're actually going to start digging, probably 2 to 3. Dig it and fill it in, just in case SHTF comes and you don't have a mini excavator to dig. It's going to be a lot easier to dig ground that's already been dug. You might say, Dave, you're crazy. No, Dave's not crazy. Well, Dave could be crazy. Dave is trying to be prepared. In the time of someone dying in my family, and I'm not talking my immediate family, my extended family, I want it to be as painless as possible. Becky's mom passed away 7-8 months ago, and she had to go through a lot of paperwork, make a lot of decisions with her father, who's up in age. It was a lot of work. So, for me, if we can get this done now, it's one less thing to worry about. Where I live, you can put the person in a pine box. So, it might sound morbid, but on the list to do is to build 2 coffins. I want to be buried in a pine box. I don't need a $5,000 coffin. That is a waste. That's, I think, immoral. You're going to spend $5 grand on a coffin and then put it in the ground and never see it again. That's stupidity. So, on the list is to build a couple coffins and just have them sitting there, sitting ready to go. So, during a very stressful time, and I felt that stressful time for my wife, she had to bear the burden traveling to where her parents live, and she bared the burden of that, getting all the arrangements done. It was a lot. So, if SHTF comes, I want to be ready. And this is getting ready. Now it's also going to be for everyday use if someone passes away. As I get up in age, you know, people die quicker when you're 60, 70 years old. So we're ready. And this is on a family piece of property. So it has some meaning. And as you can see, we can expand. Hopefully we don't have to for a long time. But this is what we're doing. If you can do it in your area, think about it. Because if you think, you know, if 10 people in your family die, and it goes back to having a family that cares about each other, that's a lot of money that is getting thrown away and not put into grandchildren, put into future generations. So this is where I'll be buried. This is where my wife will be buried. My parents will probably be buried first, just because they're in their 70s, and the odds are not in their favor. But hopefully I have many more years with my dad and mom. But that's in the Lord's hand. That's not in our hands. But if you haven't thought about it, just for regular life, take care of your plans for burial. It was stressful for Becky. They weren't ironed out at all. She had to iron them out. So part of preparing is preparing for when you pass away. It includes a will, it includes maybe insurance if you need it to cover bills when you pass away. And then if you pass away in a grid down situation, do you have a plan for people dying? Now, you might not be thinking about that right now because you're saying, Dave, I can barely get 3 months supply of food. And so be it. Concentrate on what's more important. But for you seasoned preppers out there, that I know there's tons of you that watch me, that have covered most of the bases. Think about if you live out in the country. First, can you legally put a cemetery in? And in a grid down SHTF event, it doesn't really matter legality. Where are you going to put someone? Things might stabilize and you decide, hey, let's exhume the body, dig the casket up, dig whatever you have up, and move it to a proper place. But at least thinking these things through. In my planning, I try to think of every problem that can come up and then problems within problems within problems. How am I going to deal with them? Just like in the military. You get a mission and you play devil's advocate and you say, okay, we got 4 Chinooks and this plane, and all right, 2 Chinooks go down, can't make it to where we need to go. Can we continue the mission? All right, Humvees go down. You know, scout snipers can't make it to LZ. What do we do then? You just think of problems and then you address problems. And this is a problem. People are going to pass away. Normal life. People are going to pass away in SHTF. What are you going to do with it? Start thinking now. Thanks for watching.